In this video, we will discuss taxation. Gotransverse integrates with the industry-leading tax processors including Avalara Avatax, Avalara for Communications, Suretax Communications, OneSource, and Vertex. In addition, Gotransverse provides its own tax service, Tax Essentials, that provides a configurable and maintainable tax database. The configuration of the commercial tax processor requires the customer to have a license with the proper credentials to connect. This makes the entire integration a matter of configuring the customer-provided credentials into the UI. Let's review the configuration of a tax processor. The credentials are entered into the provided prompts. Once the engine is configured, regardless of using GT Tax Essentials or one of the commercial engine integrations, we must set up the item code in the charge category. This code comes from the vendor software and describes the transaction, such as recurring fiber services or perpetual license fee. For example, in this configuration, we're looking at cable television and access charge that would yield a response of 16.6. We would use the value provided 16.6 for our item code in the tax category. Each vendor has a different way to describe the transaction to the tax engine. This category is modeled onto a product as normal, and the tax may be inclusive or exclusive based on the system setting or product price model. At this point, the engine is configured and can produce taxes. There are a few system settings that will determine the taxability, such as service or billing address, and compute tax during order. But let's review the configuration using the Gotransverse Tax Essentials service. In this case, the tax is at the federal country level, but our Tax Essentials can also support a state and/or local tax, such as the entries modeled for Canada. Some of the provinces, such as Quebec, have both a federal level and a provincial level. This can be updated as the tax rate changes, directly through the UI or via the API. Let's take a look. I have a product that is set for Canadian currency and uses the price category pointing at the Canada tax code. I will order the product with an invoice on order to generate the invoice. First, I'll start by creating the order. I'll set it to invoice on order. I'll pull up that product. And you can see it's set for $100. As I move through the screens, you'll see first that it does calculate the tax on order, and once I confirm the order, it will generate the invoice. So let's take a look at that invoice. You see the invoice is generated for $114.98. If I open this up and take a look at the tax and charge generated by looking at the details, you'll see that it is a $100 charge plus 2 taxes. First, a GST or government or federal level, then a QST, which is a provincial tax. You can see the tax rates calculated based on our setting in Tax Essentials. Thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you on our next video.